Well, it didn't seem to do them much good in the wind yesterday, unfortunately, and they did suffer. Finishing as a team, which I suppose was nice, keeping each other company, way down the order, and given the nominal time of all of the late finishes of 16 minutes and 12 seconds down. Picking up with Astana then, and you see the big powerhouse back end there of Andrei Grivko, the Ukrainian champion, always a man worth having on board. The Slovenian champion, I beg your pardon, Dmitry Gruzdev is also there, time trial champion from Kazakhstan, so hence wearing that jersey today as well. Andrei Grivko, also the road race champion in the Ukraine, so he's been a bit greedy as far as they're concerned. So this is the turn that we have to make. There's only one sort of complex little series of roundabouts that they've got to take care of. So they come off the highway, they go over a bridge, and then come back down the other side of it. It's not the biggest distance in the world, this kilometre, this time trial, 14 kilometres in total, and you're not looking at, you know, comfort deficits, let's put it that way, on time trial bikes, and indeed neither the helmets either. If you're not au fait with wearing a long-tailed time trialing helmet, sometimes they can do more harm than good, especially if you look down or you've got a bit of a twitchy head, because as soon as you look down, of course, the tail goes up and you're essentially blocking yourself. So they're making their turn, coming back down the highway. Not very complicated stuff, but entertaining nonetheless, especially in this wind. It is blowing from the northwest, and so it's not just the blanket finishes that they're echeloning in. And getting across the road, only 5 remaining. The bare minimum then for Bardini Velox, 17:06 is their time. Well, I did tell you that the benchmark time of the Japanese at 17:55 wasn't going to last. No, being of reasonable stature does help when you're busy time trialing, especially when it's a short, sharp shock such as this. Yes, it can pose you some problems. We've got Radio Shack Leopard here. Now, we have Matt Rendell, who is going to be joining us in a few moments' time. He will be tracking Radio Shack. He'll also be busily talking style-wise. I imagine it'll be a bit ragged. Not Matt, you understand, but the style of Omega Pharma Quickstep. And then we'll pick up with Sky and BMC if all goes according to plan. And you never know, we might even tempt Matt to give us a little bit of a wave as well. So getting off the line, we've just seen Team Saxo Tinkoff go. I don't think it's going to be that long before we catch up with Cannondale and indeed Astana at the end of their run. And this already looks to be a much better marshalled start. Straight into the echelon just to protect against the wind. It has ebbed a little bit from being very, very strong this morning. Last night, you heard a lot of construction incidents going on. There's a lot of building in this part of the world, and bits were being dropped. I can tell you that. Secretly, quietly, if you like. Fabian Cancellara has got a slightly modified kit here as the Swiss time trial champion, but they don't seem to impinge too much on the design of the overall Radio Shack Leopard look, but he's got a bit more red to him. You'll pick him up in just a few moments' time, as we will as well. And we'll also pick up Matt Rendell. There he is in his luminous biker's jacket. Matt, what have you got for us?
Thank you for that introduction. Very interesting, isn't it? Jaroslav Popovic in dossard number 25 was the first of the Radio Shack riders to lead out the team in these blustery conditions, wind as yesterday from the north-northwest. So they're riding out, you can see, I mean, what a beautiful straight line that is. Reason being, they're going straight into a block headwind. They're going to have this wind behind them as they come across, as they come back towards the finish line, final 3 kilometers. But the first tactical decision a team director has to make is who's going to lead the line out from the start line and take them from 0 kilometers an hour up to, well, the speed as I look over my is round about 44 kilometers an hour. They're riding into a very stiff breeze, and Cancellara, rider 21, right at the back of that group. Carlton, I've been having a little look. Échitoile La Mondiale went out very nicely, very quickly. There was the little compact Italian sprinter Davide Apollonio, who shot away from the start line, dragged them all up to speed very, very quickly. That is one of the places you can gain time. Astanar's lead rider was Andrei Grivko, number 63. He's the reigning Ukrainian time trial champion. So rather than selecting a sprinter who can make that move very, very quickly and bring them up to speed, they chose a time trialist who will do that a little bit more gradually. Compare the team time trial with the team pursuit, and as you know, it's the Stuart O'Grady's, the Ed Francis of this world, who start out the big engines, who bring the team up to speed for a 4-kilometre team pursuit. It's tactical, it's delicate, very difficult conditions here today. Today we're going to see a textbook of what it's like to ride at speed in a cycling team in windy conditions. Carlton, over to you.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, Team NetApp Endura have just gone off, by the way. Paul Voss won the Catalunya prologue, and as a result, this kind of feels like a prologue as well. Around about 14 kilometres. We're just looking at the back end of the supreme powerhouse that is Fabian Cancellara at the moment. So some breakup issues, just bear with us, would you, in the meantime. But yes, Blaž Jarč as well. Watch out for him for Team NetApp Endura. He is their sort of engine room, if you like. The man who they could possibly lean on. May well do a slightly longer stint at the front if any protection is needed. But as we look down here on Radio Shack Leopard, you can see they're ringing the changes absolutely beautifully, and as Matt was pointing out a few moments ago, more or less a straight line here, just giving themselves a very gentle echelon. The road today, classic banana shape, I think you might say, apart from the turnabout, where they have to pull off on a slit road, go over the top of the bridge, and then come back again via the alternative slip road to get on the other side of the highway. Hoping that makes sense. But then they just come all the way around this sort of banana shape, a crescent shape. It's slightly towards an S towards the end, and as you can see, they've got a bit of pace about them at the very end. A 16:31 it is for Cannondale, and that's getting more like it, over a minute or almost a minute and 24 seconds then clear of the Japanese national team, who I think here look like they're kind of racing to compare themselves and see exactly what's required in the future, which I've got to say quietly is an awful lot. Radio Shack Leopard doing a supreme job here. If you want smooth, then you're going to see amongst the best here. We will, of course, be fascinated to see how Omega Pharma Quickstep sort themselves out. Matt will be going, hooking up with them in a wee while. Matt, are you still on the tail of Radio Shack? How's their pace looking to you?
I am absolutely, and I've got to say, it is paradise out here. The wind's gusting. Conditions are quite difficult, which is nice because it means that these the top elite cycling teams in the world can show everyone else just how it's done. Fabian Cancellara rode a long pull at the front. The man with the unenviable task of riding on his wheel here is the New Zealander Hayden Ralston, Olympic bronze medalists in the team pursuit back in Beijing 2008. Hayden Ralston, a very strong time trialist in his own right. The only trouble is that Cancellara is an immensely big and powerful ride. Oh! Well, there was a gust of wind. Cancellara just looked over his shoulder. Ralston had to react. And then on the back, rider number 26, Gregory Rast, who was in the three-man breakaway third in yesterday's stage, he had to sprint to get on the back. So there, a warning shot across the bows from the crosswinds. Just beginning, as you can see, to form a little bit of a left-to-right echelon, this team. But when Cancellara hits the front, he's got to be very careful not to tear the guts out of this team. Just coming up to a little chicane. Over to you, Carlton. Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, before I do go over to you, it is wonderful out here. It's beautiful. The light is magnificent. And here we are on the road with some of the great racing cyclists in the world. Where would you rather be?
Well, frankly, on the back of the motorcycle. Frankly, on the back of the motorcycle with you, Matt. I think you've got the best seat in the house.
Wonderful. I think I have. I think I have.
Very happy man. We've just seen I Am Cycling head off. Heinrich Hausler, incidentally, took a stage of the Tour de France. Don't forget, stage 13, I think it was, a couple of years ago. He is their main call here as we look at Astana coming to the line right now. Now, this will be a proper time. Mind you saying that, Cannondale look like they may well just about, be close to them. It is the best so far then, 16:24 I think it was, as the fifth man came across the line. Incidentally, if you're wondering about the starting order today, Astana did not have a great day yesterday, and as a result, they are starting, well, they're 13th in the team classification, which is based on the best positions of the best three riders that you have in your team. Just checking in on one of the jerseys here, that's Martin Elmiger, and he is nursing the Silver Points jersey on behalf of our leader. And if you missed it at the top of the show, and indeed you've missed yesterday's opening stage, where were you is the question. The answer is Brent Buchwalter. He's the man in gold at the moment. So a little switch it was from one side of the highway to the next. Traffic marshalling, absolutely amazing. When you do get into the interior of this country, by the way, there's very little traffic upon the road. Same can't be said for Doha, which, well, it seems that the vehicle of choice is very, very large four-wheel drive vehicles, which will carry you into the desert. Go and sort of get in touch with your quiet side, I think. But yes, they do take up rather a lot of room. And but when you get out into the interior of the country, it is amazing. Here's Vacances Soleil about to get underway, and Juan Antonio Flecha is, of course, well, Housewife's favourite, apart from anything else. Well, he's getting on a little bit these days. 35 years of age, but never to be counted out, and especially useful in situations such as this. A great marshaller of a team, and in fact he's had plenty, has he not? But coming into the Vacances Soleil side as principal of this team, Marco Mercato goes well as he did in Etoile Bessèges in the Paris Tour. Wouter Moll as well, the winner in 2010, let's not forget, often gets just briefly overlooked as our Wouter, but yes, he and Kenny Van Hummel know how to put this together. Incidentally, Badani Veloci CSF Inox, who have already finished. Sasha Modolo absent from that team, so they kind of started short-handed. Yesterday took a tumble, had an x-ray just to see if his scaphoid was damaged. Not sure about the results of that, but they're not taking any chances, and as a result they started short-handed today. The Japanese, although we were a little unkind to them perhaps earlier on, big pick-up there. He's having to work hard, Popovic, to get back on here. It's exactly what Matt was saying. If you've got some very, very strong riders here, just on the back of your relay, if you drop off and the wind does gust, then you have to struggle to get back on. They're on this intersection, this changeover part here. Matt, would you like to just talk us through this? And in
well, Carlton,
you dropped back.
I wonder if you can hear me. We might be out of range here.
I think you might just about be, Matt. You just rest up and bring us home with Omega Pharma a little bit later on. AG2R coming in as we speak. 16:30s. They're going to be deep into that, which is going to put them down in, what, 4th place before you know it. And only 5 left as well. There's absolutely no spare here at all. 16:40 for AG2R. Well, if we had a casting aside or a strewing, if you like, of the peloton yesterday, look at this. They aren't Sunday afternooners on the other side of the road. They are supposed to be on this side of the road, but I'm not quite sure how I Am got this wrong, but I think 2 riders are on the correct side as we speak, and the remainder are not. Now, I don't know whether there's another opening for them here, or whether they can actually just come together in the correct spot, but this looks like a modest disaster that we're looking at right now. 2 riders, and they are going to have to work extremely hard. If they're on the wrong side of the highway, they're not going to be able to relay as part of the team, and as a result, I don't think there's any way for them to rejoin here, but we will see. I'm still not sure whether it was the 2 who are on the right side or who, we'll find out a little bit later, but whatever it is, it's disaster because they've lost firepower, and those two really struggling to stay up, believing that they can help out later on. They may well prove to be a little bit of an anchor. So watch your road markings. There aren't any gentlemen with pennants here, and, well, maybe there will be some penance to pay. Off and underway we go here. It's Argos Shimano. And only 6 more teams to go. It's spooling through nice and quickly, this. It's only 14 kilometres long. I'm desperate to find out what's happened to I Am. I guess we'll find out at the end, or maybe at the team briefing later on. They'll all gather around for dinner, and then they'll start pointing breadsticks at each other to blame. Oh, breadsticks of blame. Hayden Ralston looks like he's done his job today. Started off very, very quickly. Maybe he's delivered exactly what he needs to. Don't forget, the time is taken on the 5th rider home and the 6 remaining here. So that should be okay. Astana are leading at the moment with a 16.24. Cannondale with a 7-second deficit, and AG2 are 16 seconds adrift. These times aren't going to stand for that long unless the wind considerably changes here. But they'll roll into this one nicely, Radio Shack. Didn't have a great day yesterday. As a result, they've got that early starting position, possibly a little earlier than you might have suspected. 3 of their riders were given that nominal time of the strugglers yesterday of 16.12 down. The best placed man, Tony Gallopin, 10 seconds down, but he was really on his own. I beg your pardon. What am I talking about? Gregory Rash finished in 3rd yesterday. My mistake. Forgive me. Saxo Tinkoff then heading for the line, and this will not be good. Well, I was expecting more from them, actually. 16.33, the clock stops on them. They possibly could have expected a little bit more than that. I think we probably did as well. Yes, Daniele Benati, they've got some class on board, let's not forget, and the likes of Anders Lund, who are a big powerhouse. Well, they've got back together, I Am, by the looks of things, and lucky for them. I don't know whether it involved clambering over central reservations or not, but here we go. They've put it back together, and yeah, picking up quite nicely, to be honest. Henrik Hausler's doing the proper job of team leader here, and yeah, you had some decent results here last time, don't forget, stages 3 and 4, so Hausler knows the conditions. Maybe he's just guiding them as we speak. Guiding them here, and got to be careful not to just snap the elastic, as it were, is Fabian Cancellara. Just drops off the nose here, and you can see how the wind has changed on this leg, if you like, the return leg. It's going to be a good time, that, for Radio Shack Leopard. This is Katusha about to get underway. They've got some decent firepower on board. The Latvian time trialling champion is Gatis Smukulis, by the way. Can't make out a different coloured jersey, however. So I'm hoping that's he's defending time trial champion. He may well have. Ah, there it is. I spot it. Penultimate across the road as you look, in the sort of whitish jersey. So good for him. He's representing his nation. I think Pavel Brut, don't forget, was former champion as well in Russia. So he's got some firepower to deliver as well. This is Popovic, who's done his job. And I think we're left with the bare minimum, are we? We are indeed. 5 up front for Radio Shack Leopard at the moment. Fabian Cancellara is the man that is bossing them. He bosses everybody, incidentally, when it comes to time trials. Specialist at taking prologues, of which this kind of has the feel of. No real necessity, it seems, to get time trialing bikes transported here. They are on their road bikes. I'm making a good fist of it today. I suspect in these blustery conditions you maybe not have opted for a hard-on focused time trial bike anyway, quite frankly. Sub 16 minutes for now, just tip over that, but they've got a cushion here over Astana's time of 16.24, and Radio Shack Leopard are going to take the lead here, unless the camera is really foreshortened dramatically. 5 across the line, so last man of this little grouping here. There we are, 16.18 is the stop clock. So 16.18 now really does become a proper target here. I just wonder if any team might just start to nudge towards the 16. I think I Am have started to suffer because of their misplaced guidance early on. Maybe it was just be very, very careful. The road suddenly narrows here, and without the pennant men that we were talking about, Permin Lang, by the way, who was fourth in the Nationals of Switzerland, has just gone on the drift. We pick up with Martin Elmiger there. He's wearing the silver jersey as well. Swiss champion back in 2010 on the road, that is, not the time trial. 34 years of age now, doesn't seem to hamper him that much. He was sprightly enough yesterday, and this is looking a bit ragged. Their rolling changes have kind of dropped a little bit, and well, you want ragged, check out Vacan Soleil. Maybe I'm being a bit unkind. They've got a double relay going on here. In fact, it's going through, they're ringing the changes extraordinarily quickly. And look how fast you have to pick it up at the back. And just about to lose, by the looks of things, Wouter Mol, the winner here in 2010, who looked to be struggling, wasn't taking his turn, was stuck off the back. And yes, Orica Green Edge then. A team not long in the tooth, but they kind of feel like they've been around for an awful long time. Bewley, Cook, Davis and Lancaster doing it for the Antipodeans as we speak. Beppu is an escape artist on some of the more benign stages. You never know, if the wind does stop, he might well go for it. In fact, he'll probably go for it if the wind doesn't stop, but there you go. Oh, away they go. It'd be nice to see how they form themselves. They practice an awful lot. They're one of these teams that has an amazing strategy. Yes, modest gains are better than none, and they'll take them wherever they can, and practice makes perfect, and they are pretty good. This is interesting. IAM's relay, they're kind of riding in a clenched fist at the moment. I imagine that's mentally about where they are as well. Yes, I'm just waiting for Matt Brendel to get back in touch. Matt, are you still on the road, or are you just waiting for Omega Pharma as we speak at the moment to come by?
Carlson, well, I'm just behind the IAM team you've been describing. I can tell you what's going on. And what you have in the middle of that group is the wonderful sprinter Heinrich Hausler. As you say, stage winner back in 2008 of the Tour de France in terrible conditions, riding into his hometown, the town he was living in Colmar. Now, Heinrich is a veteran of Cervelo, and riding with that team with Roger Hammond, one of the, and Andreas Clear, two of the great masters of riding in the wind. Heinrich learned this ball formation that they're riding in, protecting each other, not having one rider at the front, as in the line, who takes a long pull and then has an extended rest period at the back of the group as they slowly move forward. But riding in a ball formation, each taking a very quick turn at the front, but as soon as they hit the front, they just pull off. They have a lot less time to recover, but it really generates speed. The problem is that Hausler did this in 2010 with Cervelo, the opening time trial of the 2010 Tour of Qatar, won of course by Team Sky, you'll remember, Bradley Wiggins' team. Cervelo, as I remember it, were in round about third or fourth place, but they rode in such tight formation that at one point, because of a gust of wind, Hausler had to reach forward and just touch on the side another of his teammates to stop them colliding. And because of that, no physical contact allowed between riders in their team time trial. The team was relegated to last. But it's a young team. Hausler's only 28 years old, but he's kind of the senior rider. He has a free role within this team. He's the star. We saw Martin Elmiger yesterday, a good, solid classics rider. But Hausler is untouchable here, and he has taught his young Swiss teammates on this new team to ride in the wind.
Just crossing over you, Matt. You're just talking about star turns. We have Omega Pharma Quickstep about to get underway, and we've just been homing in and looking into the eyes, well, if we could, of the dark shades of Mark Cavendish. Now, Mark Cavendish, despite being a sprinter, is actually a pretty handy time trialer. He is, of course, fitting himself into yet another team after being a master with HTC, looking extraordinarily settled. The HTC sponsorship disappeared almost as Mark Cavendish jumped ship to Sky, and now of course he is with Omega Pharma Quickstep as Grand Tour ambitions, general classification ambitions for Sky come to the fore. Mark sort of looking for a new home, says he's found it and it's a very good fit. We'll see how Omega Pharma Quickstep settle themselves in. as we come back to Matt and I am.
Well, I can tell you we've left them behind now. We're heading back to the finish line. We'll swing round and we'll get on the tail of Mark Cavendish's team and give you an update from there. So, Carlton, back to you.
Yeah, we'll see you in a moment.
I'll be back with you as soon as I can.
Thank you, Matt. Matt Randell on the back of one of the motorcycles. You'll understand while he's talking to us, he is not piloting the bike. He does have a rather experienced rider, a man who's completed the Paris-Dakar on a number of times, so we should feel right at home in the deserts as we look at it right now. I've been rather impressed by IAM. I think they are producing what is an extraordinarily well-marshalled time trial here, save for a little bit of a road incident. We'll see what sort of time that knocked into them here. Target time, don't forget, is 16:18. Nowhere near that now, but it may well be a top 5 just for the time being, will it? Gosh, they're going to slip into 7th place, are they? They are. Well, paying a price, 16.44. Paying a price for a little bit of mismanagement when it came to finding the right route. So, waiting for Vacances Soleil as well. Teams going off in 3-minute intervals, I might add, which gives them plenty of time. And over 14 kilometres, you're not going to see anyone catching their minute men or their 3-minute men, as it were. Team Argos Shimano then, resplendent in their pale outfits. It's been voted down, this outfit, but I quite like the look of it, I must admit. And it does have the sense of the silver or indeed the pearl jersey that counts for an awful lot in this event. A little bit of bouncing here. Tom Wieler's just looking like he's chugging off the back end here. Didn't look that happy. Lead out for Marcel Kittel, of course. John Degenkolb, watch him start nodding towards the end. One of his characteristics. Here is Francis de Jure to get underway. A team with big ambitions and just a little bit light on delivery over the last few years. Save for some great work by not only Pinot but Marc Madio as well. He was doing a bit of car slapping, of course, you may remember, in the Tour de France. Let's see what Martial Gaillon, if there is a service car allowed alongside. Haven't really seen one in close attendance, and we haven't really heard anything either. Very quickly into formation here. That's impressive. Well, yeah, you pick your man to take up the first taste of the wind, as it were, and then the rest fall in sequence behind. It's actually a difficult thing to do, and especially from a standing start. If you've got a ramp, it kind of helps because you can more or less use the speed to just get it yourself into formation rather than having to drive it in. And everyone goes at a different cadence, let's not forget, but the same speed more or less off a ramp. Wearing number 1 is Mark Cavendish. Had a great time in Saint Louis, and the man who denied him of a stage win on stage 2 there sadly is no longer in the race. Sasha Mondolo has taken a tumble yesterday and suspected broken bone in his hands. Careful with hearing, but no confirmation on that just at the moment. As Matt was describing, this ball rolling formation which keeps the speed up, but it does have its dangers, especially if you get gusty. Well, it seems to be the formation of choice today, and we'll just wait for Matt to get with us and start tracking these boys. Mark Cavendish has looked a little bit... Oh, here he is. Here's Matt.
Happened. Quick step, and I apologise for it, but we are behind on the start line. Edvard Boasson-Hagen, rider number 1, big smile on his face. He was the first rider to get onto the line, but I on the left-hand side as the rider.
Well, Matt, I'm afraid we're losing you at the moment. We'll wait until you get a better signal a little bit further, deeper into the course. We've got Vacances Soleil finishing right now. Time across the line approaching 17 minutes. That's a club you don't want to join, 16:58. 3 teams down in on the naughty step, if you like, of the 17-minute mark. Champion Systems, Bardini Valvolio are short-handed, and the Japan national team, which is also very short-handed. The Japan national team, incidentally, with an awful lot of youngsters on board. In fact, I'm saying that. They've only got 1. I'm running out of excuses for them. There you go. Team Argos Shimano, then, doing a good relay job here. They look like they've got a pace about them. And what they say about sports cars, if they look fast, they probably are fast. And they look fast. I'm probably wrong, but we'll see. Sky Pro Cycling then. A lot of interest here. Luke Rowe, Ian Stannard, the British road champion, not the time trial champion, of course. Geraint Thomas here as well, and Edvald Boasson-Hagen. Now, I understood that Eddie Boss had a little bit of... he's clearly not got the national time trial jersey, but I know he's the road race champion. They have been practicing a lot. They're a team that are looking towards the classics as well, let's not forget. It's their classics team that have come here, not their Grand Tour team. Edvald Boasson-Hagen primary amongst those, you might think. We'll see how they settle down, but they have been practicing their time trial, and by the looks of things, so have Quick Step. Matt, should we try you again? Well, we're still a little bit of a connection deficit when it comes to Matt. I think he may well be just trying to get Sky Pro Cycling, if I remember rightly, as opposed to Omega Pharma Quick Step. So we'll just trace those for you as we speak. It's going to roll through nice and quickly today. Don't forget we have another big proper stage for you tomorrow. But take nothing away from the time trial here. It's a proper test, and you don't want to be left with anything that you could perhaps have delivered today. This is starting to look a little bit ragged, and so is the demeanour of the riders. A lot of open mouth chugging going on here. You can see those who are most comfortable very, very quickly. Roy Curvers, the Dutchman, looks like he's more than prepared to take a double turn, as Argos Shimano, after almost completing their run here, and they've got teammates in hand. Well, this bodes well for a decent season here. Third quickest, will they make it? It's going to be close with Cannondale, I think, as they slip into the fourth berth here. Too busy looking over each other's shoulders. Maybe they could have burnt somebody out there and had a better result, but 16:37 for Argos Shimano. It'll be Katusha across the line next, incidentally, and I'll be fascinated to see how Gatis Smukulis, it may well be that he is the man that... Oh, Mark Cavendish starting to chug here. That was a little bit of a ragged turn, and he does not want to waste too much energy when he's got teammates that can help out here, but yes, had to struggle to get back on, and that rolling ball changeover that Matt Rendell was describing so beautifully earlier on. Yes, there they are, and doing it nicely as well. You get to the front quicker, but it's not such a long drag, and there's less danger of you actually falling off the back. There is our leader in the golden jersey. It's Brent Buchfelder. Yes, and Taylor Finney as well is the young rider. Oh, as if by magic, the pearl jersey pops into view. Now, Taylor Finney is a superb time trialist. He's a young man that knows how to turn a wheel. Well, I suspect he will be a vital part of this. Who's going to take the nose at the beginning remains to be seen. Adam Blythe at 23 years of age, also in here. A real prize fighter he could be. Brent Buchfelder, we've already mentioned, in the golden jersey on the far left of your screen as you look at it, so right-hand side of the road. And indeed, he opts for the most protection as Taylor Finney in the young riders jersey, who took points in both intermediate sprints yesterday, incidentally. That was them as they just rolled off, and this is them in formation as we speak. So we join them a little bit further down the road live once again. Hope you're enjoying the viewing, by the way. The Tour of Qatar attracting a great deal of interest. I've got to say, I do like these helmets as well. Might well see if I can borrow one. I'll give it back. Brent Buchfelder then is our leader. Yesterday he was almost as surprised as I think some of his teammates that he'd actually got there. And back at base, sporting directors have well, they have a lot to think about, and Stuart Jackson is one of those men. Not a great deal of shouting going on, which we quite like, but there you go. And Taylor Finney coming off and doing a relay, starting top and tail like this. The two jerseys that are within this team, although actually got three, don't forget, but one is being nursed by Martin Elmiger on behalf of Brent Buchfelder. Back to them in a moment. We've got Katusha coming across the line. I think this is probably going to be a little bit better than people thought, and so it is proving to be. Top three? Yep. 16:22 seconds so far for Katusha. They've had a couple of surprises, you know, along the way. I think in the Vuelta as well, in fact, it was the Giro d'Italia. They were not exactly being ignored, but maybe we just didn't give them the respect that they deserved, and they produced a great time trial as a team. I'm not even sure whether they didn't actually win it. But this is Sky as we speak at the moment. And Matt, are you behind Sky, and have we got a decent link with you?
Yes, indeed, Carlton. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Yep.
Just to confirm that before I launch into the next one. Good. Well, Carlton, I can tell you that Sky have been mixing their tactics as we watch them now. They're in the ball formation, but depending on the gusting wind and the slow change of position with respect to the wind, they have been changing their position. 2 riders have just burnt out. Gabriel Rush was missing turns at the start, so he perhaps not in great form. Chris Sutton, of course, the one Sky rider who was in that big group of 70 riders at 16 minutes and 12 seconds yesterday, he has just dropped off. So Sky already down to 6 riders. But I followed Radio Shack, Cancellara's team. I was carefully looking at the time. They were doing 42, 43 kilometers an hour straight into the headwind. At the same position, Sky were doing at least 1 kilometer per hour faster. And they're getting instructions from the team car. They're varying their tactics by the 100 meters, and a very careful, very professional job, a textbook demonstration by this team. A lot of pressure on them, Carlton. They want to win this race today, and if they don't, there will be words. So they're under pressure to do well, and for the time being, it looks like they are doing so.
They are doing a great job. They are an extraordinarily well-marshalled team. Let's not forget that Dave Brailsford imparts his style throughout, and it perforates throughout, and woe betide anyone who kind of doesn't match his aspirations, or in fact the drive of the team. They have a plan, they usually stick to it, and that plan today was to vary the tactics in terms of how you face up to the wind, and they've been doing it beautifully, switching very, very smoothly. Same has to be said for Omega Pharma Quickstep. Mark Cavendish has been doing a proper turn here. Seems like he's warmed to the task. He's being given the most protection at the moment, and they have stopped in their relay, so they're just offering up a little bit of respite to him at the moment. So obviously got the pace that they believe is decent enough. Orica Greenedge into second place. Can they get the better of Katusha? I doubt it. And there is the switch into third place and down into fourth. You do tumble quickly, but it's the time gaps that are important at the end of today, and they've nailed a 16:30 here, Orica.
Carlton, Orica Greenedge starting off disadvantaged by the absence of the very strong New Zealander Sam Bewley, a team pursuit specialist, a very strong time trialist. He was persuaded to start yesterday's first stage of the Tour of Qatar despite a fever. He didn't finish it. He is one of the 2 non-starters today. And let me leap in and provide you with the update on Sasha Modolo, the leader of Bardiani Valvole, a wonderful sprinter, winner of Stage 2 of Tour of San Luis, very much impressing the second-placed rider that day, Mark Cavendish.
And unfortunately, we have somebody's unplugged our Matt. Matt, you're back with us briefly.
Yes, we just went under a bridge there. Apologies for that break. Sasha went down yesterday. I saw him this morning at 10 o'clock. He was just heading off to hospital. I saw his team director, Stefano Reverberi, at round about midday, and he shook his head and said, it's bad news, it's broken. So Sasha Modolo, a much awaited rider here at the Tour of Qatar. He'll be heading home on a flight to Italy
what a
tonight.
shame.
For the time being, though, I'll give you a last word about Team Sky. Once again in the ball formation, generating some real speed into the final section on a headwind before they head home. Carlton, we're going to stop here.
Thanks,
and
Matt.
We'll pick up BMC in a couple of minutes, and I'll be back with you then.
Perfect. Omega Pharma Quickstep on your screen at the moment. Mark Cavendish, whenever he goes to the back, it seems that they've given him just a little bit extra time here. It may well just be our view and how we're selecting our pictures here today, because he looks fresh enough when he gets up to the front here. Yes, Mark Cavendish, as they pass the Flamme Rouge here, is a man who Goes quickly, but also is very, very much a team player and fits very well into this kind of system, it seems. He's been talking about Omega Pharma Quick-Step and saying that, yeah, it's just been a natural fit for him. Just drifting back, Martin Velits, and I think he's done his job here. He's going to let the team thin out ever so slightly. He'll be fifth man across the line, let me just remind you. We were possibly going to be thinking about sandstorms last night. Thankfully, that did not materialise. Sub 16 minutes ain't going to happen today by the looks of things. The wind playing havoc with any of those kind of aspirations. But Omega Pharma Quick-Step are coming through now, and Mark Cavendish is going to be the last man across the line, is he, of the five, as they spread a little bit wide, not quite in fact, just turns on a little bit of speed towards the line. He can't help but do that, and they are fast with a 16.17. There we go. So Omega Pharma Quick-Step take the lead here by just one solitary second over Radio Shack Leopard. Sitting a further 6 seconds back is Katusha, and this is Team BMC as we speak, taking their final turns to head back towards the finish line here. Only 7 kilometers out and then 7 back, so it spins through very, very quickly. It will be Francis de Jeux that come across the line next, followed by Sky and then BMC to wrap this one up. We're looking at BMC right now and the two jerseys that they hold. Matt, have you found them? Matt, I think you were just going under a bridge. We've kind of lost a little bit of connection. Give us a shout when you can hear us more clearly. So BMC it is at the moment. Straight lining, just a little bit of protection offered up by that bridge and the high walls as we just drop back to Sky. Francis de Jeux will be crossing the line in just a few moments' time. But the British team, Bernard Eisel yesterday, I think he could have won the stage, frankly. He was out there hoovering up points in the first couple of sprints, and it very much looked like he was called back to help out and not really put too much of a gap between the escapees and in fact the rest of his team. He then went on to finish strongly, and I think had he been part of what was a 3-man escape and in fact made it 4, then he would have been our leader, picking up bonus points at the end to add to the 4 that he picked up during the stage itself. So Bernard Eisel maybe a little bit aggrieved, especially at 31 years of age, but you know, he's got a great palmarès with the likes of the Ghent-Wevelgem to his name. Just thought he may well have shone a bit brighter yesterday towards the end had he been allowed to, and that was just my own personal feeling. So then BMC it is that we are trying to hook up with. Matt, have you got BMC within your sights?
Carlton, they're just coming up towards me, so I think we should reception. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, you're slightly breaky, but we'll go with it.
Well, quite unlike Team Sky, there are still 8 riders in that BMC line. Taylor Phinney looking over his shoulder. He's leading them out. He's got plenty. But I can tell you, my feeling is that Team Sky have got this at this stage. I think they've been riding very carefully. I wouldn't be at all surprised to hear that at least one of the 2 Sky riders dropped. That was a planned tactic. It is, of course, open to you. You only have to finish with 5 riders. I can tell you back in 2010 when there was a team time trial here, Fabian Cancellara dragged his team round for most of the way and then ended up, I think, coming in about 2 minutes 40 behind because they'd simply taken the decision that Fabian was going
Matt,
to go
just
in the front, keep it everything.
Just got to interrupt you. We've got Francis de Jeux finishing with an extremely good time here, just rolling through. Oh, they've been beaten by the clock, I'm afraid to tell you. It's just going to be in the top 5 though for them, and that bodes very well. Francis de Jeux picking it up rather nicely. I don't know whether that was damage limitation towards the end, but they came back very, very quickly there, well marshalled out and very, very fast back. Back to you, Matt. Sorry.
Well, yes, Francis de Jeux having a wonderful time in the time trials in France as well, and their coach, Fred Krapper, he'll be working with Jérémy Roy, the runner-up in last year's French National Time Trial Championships, to Sylvain Chavanel. And Jérémy Roy wants to be the French National Time Trial Champion this year, and they've been working very hard. By the way, Johan Alfredo, a rider who rode here last year and then has just had a suspension for a year from racing for his team Francis Deja because of 3 missed whereabouts appointments, so a mandatory 1-year suspension. He came back and he tweeted that his legs felt fantastic yesterday. So I think Francis Deja have brought a very informed team here, and of course they're winning right, left and centre in France too. In fact, a wonderful start to the season for the French teams. BMC aren't one of them. They're a principally American team, and it's all about Taylor Phinney here. He's taking long pulls at the front. He wants to eclipse Fabian Cancellara this year. There's an ambition, but for the time being, it's not a tactical ride by BMC, not like we were seeing with Sky. It's simple, it's brutal. I should imagine it's very painful for almost everyone else in that group, and we'll see how effective it is in a few minutes when they get to the start line.
Absolutely. Well, nice to see Brent Buchwalter as well, as Taylor Phinney takes his turn. Because of the way it's been revolving, it's the leader's jersey that's getting the biggest rest out there. I think they'd like to see that golden jersey stay on Brent Buchwalter's shoulders for some time. That's how we stand at the moment. Omega Pharma quick step, 1 second clear of Radio Shack, and Katusha 5 seconds off, a little bit further down. Some time adjustments then having been made, but Omega Pharma quick step, only shavings of seconds, you understand. Here comes Sky then. At the moment they are in the bird seat, and it looks like they may well just have the drop here. We've got a very long view. It's they're not quite as close to the line as you might have thought. The next 17 seconds they've got to hit it quicker than that, and here they come. I think we're seeing our leaders here. Sky really gritting, Eisel as well. Oh my goodness, they are hitting it hard. And the rest of us here, 16:11 for Sky. That is masterful. Well. They may well have been varying their tactics out there and playing the proper time trialing game, and they've delivered here. So it's all down to BMC. What have they got for us today? It's been a brief but enthralling time trial. This 14 kilometres. I quite like the shorter time trials, I must admit. I think they offer up fireworks. Let's put it that way. Sky, Omega Pharma Quickstep and Radio Shack 1, 2, 3. No real surprise, you might say there, but where will BMC fit in the hierarchy? At your podium just for now. And Brent Buchwalter spurred on. They do say that the leader's jersey gives you a certain amount of power, depending on which rider you talk to, as much as 10%. Well, right now, out front, Brent Buchwalter doing a proper job. Just drifts back. Taylor Phinney will take the nose, and they've kept a lot of firepower together here. Look at this. 7 as we speak, and yes, just dropping in, not quite on the back, so presumably will be led off one of the relays here, we guess. Maybe he's fresh enough to take it early is what I mean. So others being led off the relay, the 2 behind him. So the last 5 clearly at the moment, the last of them will be Brent Buchwalter. So count the men in front of him, and you can count on them to finish this one. Yes, they took the best 3-place riders in the general classification to get the start order, and as a result, BMC, who have just had such a great opener to this Tour of Qatar, naturally enough, the last to go. Taylor Phinney, wearing the youth jersey, finished 5th yesterday. Brent Buchwalter taking the stage as well along the way, and Adam Blythe finishing 18th, but only 10 seconds down. So yes, it was talent will out, and they've got plenty of it, especially if the likes of Brent Buchwalter consider himself reasonably anonymous. He's a fantastic rider, showed that yesterday and delivered. Look at that, Taylor Phinney, absolutely solid. Look at the shoulders. It's a champagne cup is what we're talking about. That's the ideal style. A bit like a jockey, except of course the legs are moving as opposed to static in the stirrups.
Carlton, three riders have dropped off the back of that group in the past 400 metres. First it was Lawrence Warbatter, rider 38. Second it was Steve Cummings, rider 34. And we've just passed another rider who's dropped off. 5 are going to finish together.
They're coming now, Matt. They're coming now, within view as we approach the 16-minute mark. There's the target time, 16:11. What have BMC got? Plenty, you might think, spurred on as they are. Oh, a little bit of wavering across the road. Total total blanket finish here. This is well marshalled as well. Driving for the line, pushing across the line as well. And a 16.07, riding like the holders of the leader's jersey. They've delivered. Well, that was fantastic and great to see both jerseys as well. Look how calm Taylor Phinney looks across the line. It looks like he's done half the work of Brent Buchwalter here. A big handshake, lots of thanks. And Buchwalter, knowing that he is going to be solidly in that leader's jersey. They've worked for him and he's worked his socks off. Absolutely brilliant. Stu Jackson, more than delighted, and BMC have nailed it. Well, they're a popular team, BMC. Yeah, they've been around a long time, and they generally tend to pick a team that sticks together. And you'll see congratulations being offered up here from Sky as well, and it is. Yeah, well done, mate. They know how the clock rolls, and they know what a tough job that is to get it right, and they have done it. So BMC, it is quickest today. Brent Buchwalter, as our leader, stays in gold tomorrow. Might well be a couple of days before somebody takes it off him, if they can. That would be something. I wonder who's the last to actually roll through the entire Tour of Qatar in the leader's jersey, or if it's been done. We will find out. I suspect it may well be Tom Boonen at some point. So BMC then, quickest today, 16.07. Sky, 5 seconds adrift. They'll add that to their GC. And Omega Pharma Quickstep have to pick up another 10, which puts Mark Cavendish 20 seconds down in the general classification, away from this man that you're looking at right now. So, big losers, Radio Shack Leopard, I think, and Fabian Cancellara today. And we'll get a full rundown for you of their finish times. But Radio Shack 6.18, so they're giving away, not that bad. Giving away 11 seconds. So added to that list. Big smiles. They daren't celebrate too much. Then again, fruit smoothies don't do that much harm in this part of the world. They're absolutely gorgeous as they are. And yes, that's a place to be tonight with BMC. Very much enjoyed this. Matt, how did you get on today? You enjoy it? Well, I think we're waiting for Matt to assemble himself at the finish line and do some interviews for us. So just bear with us on that one. No, about Brent, though, look at that. As he just edges towards our commentary position here and hands out the thanks to all around him. Steve Cummings just stage 13 in the Vuelta, 31-year-old Brit. Well, age has not withered them. Certainly not. Look at that. Big hug, whether you want it or not. So, that was today. It will be back to the usual programme tomorrow, which is wide open spaces, wind and drama. That's what Qatar is all about. You know, Brent's going to have to get used to this, because it may well be for the next few days he constantly gets hugs and has to hand them out. I think he's usually one dishing them. But that was a good team effort, and you can see what a team time trial means to the boys who took part here. Very, very well done. BMC, quickies down there. Be careful stepping through some of those little sharp-leaved plants, by the way. Last thing you want is to give more blood than you have to. So stage 3 tomorrow, we're going loop-tastic as we head from Al Wakra down to Mesaid, and indeed back again, back down and back again and back down. We'll come to that in a moment. There we are, Brent Buchwalter taking it today along with his teammates. And look at that. Sky, well, there are their other times for you. Bernard Eisel, courtesy of those bonus points he picked up yesterday, finds himself 4 seconds to the better than his teammate. But Edvald Boasson-Hagen, they did a proper job today. Edvald still very much in the frame. So is Geraint Thomas, incidentally. Count him out not. But Brent Buchwalter is the man in gold.
تأتيكم هذه التغطية برعاية إكسون موبيل.
جديد موقع الجزيرة الرياضية على شبكة الإنترنت. زاوية المشاهدين هي لك. حمل الآن لقطاتك الطريفة والمميزة ومقاطع الفيديو والصور، وتمتع بمشاهدة أعمالك الخاصة على صفحات الموقع وعلى شاشات الجزيرة. قم بزيارتنا على العنوان التالي: www.aljazeerasport.net.